Alright folks, welcome back to Let's Play Starcraft. I'm the Mysterious JG, and I can still remember when I first played through this game years ago that the most excited, or the most hotly anticipated missions for me were always the very first missions of a new species. So I was really excited the first time I got to play as the Zerg, and I was really excited the first time I got to play as the Protoss. Now, of course, since then I've played it, and never as exciting. Brood War, your first mission is the Terrans after playing through as the Protoss. Nowhere near as exciting as your first mission as the Protoss or Zerg in the first game. But for, maybe for a small portion of you guys, this will be all new. So, get ready to find out about the Protoss. Protoss campaign, the fall. The Zerg Overmind has succeeded in invading the Protoss homeworld of Ire and has embedded itself into the crust of the planet. Now, as the agents of the sinister Overmind spread chaos and destruction across the face of Ire, the stalwart Protoss defenders prepare themselves for the coming onslaught. First strike. Citadel of the new Protoss Executor 2 days after the Zerg invasion.
Entaro Adun, Executor.
Hey, man.
I am Judicator Aldaris. I have been sent by the Conclave to serve and counsel you. The former Executor, Tassadar, was commanded to halt the Zerg progress in the Terran sector by burning the infested human world.
Sounds like a dick move.
Unfortunately, he disregarded his orders and attempted to destroy the Zerg while sparing the Terrans from the flame. Clearly, Tassadar has failed us. You must not. The Conclave has dictated that our first priority is to strengthen our defenses.
Then we want you to get the sniper gun and rescue Meryl.
Reinforce our outpost in Antioch and make certain that the Province does not fall to the Zerg. Your old comrade, Praetor Phoenix, will meet you there and assist you in this endeavor.
At PSG-1, you can use that against Sniper Wolf. Go ahead and rescue Meryl. Or save Meryl, whatever it is. Yeah. Also, Ihadokas are being capable of existing in multiple dimensions, etc., etc. Yeah, I can't remember his name. I probably should have looked it up. But that's the guy who does Roy Campbell in the Metal Gear Solid series. Isn't that cool? And, although I shouldn't spoil it since I want to LP it someday, he also does the voice of your commanding officer in Metal Gear 2, which is never stated to be Colonel Campbell, which is kind of a weird thing in that game. But let's not dwell on that. Let's dwell on StarCraft. The first mission for the Protoss. We have to meet Praetor Phoenix at Antioch and destroy the Zerg base. And we, having played through and had a lot of fun playing as the unnamed, not Marshal, what were we? We were the Magistrate, who became a commander. We were a Cerebrit. Now we get to be Executor. Certainly the coolest title of those. All Protoss buildings except the Nexus must be built within the energy field of a pylon. But that doesn't really matter right now because we don't have any probes, which are what the Protoss used to build buildings. Get the mouse set up properly. We start out with... Sorry, a couple of zealots here.
I long for combat. Tea-house.
Tea-house? Tea-house of the August moon.
What battle calls? Entaro Adun. All for the Empire.
Oh, they're like Klingons.
Doom to all who threaten the homeworld. I long for combat. Tea-house. I am needed.
And the
Make use of
Dragoon, which is kind of a weird unit. I don't think we understand exactly what it is, and I think it's kind of explained a little bit more later on, but it does appear to be some kind of Zerg head that's like underwater.
input command. I am needed. Unauthorized transmission. Incorrect protocol. Drop your weapon. You have 15 seconds to comply.
Head 209.
Transmitted. Zakalados. Make use of me. Zakalados. Unauthorized transmission. Incorrect protocol. Drop your weapon. You have 15 seconds to comply. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Make use of me.
Yeah, so that's them doing their little, what do you call it? I'm completely blanking on the word. Their homage, I suppose, to the scene, the Ed 209, Enforcement Droid 209 introductory scene. Whoa! Zergling! From RoboCop, which was a highly underrated movie and a highly awesome scene from that movie. At any rate, a couple of Zergling attacked, and as you see, this guy's shields were knocked down to 40-something of 60, but he didn't take any life damage. His shields, we've explained this before, but it will be more relevant to us now than ever. His shields will regenerate, but the life won't. So the key to keeping your Protoss units alive is to make sure that the damage they take never goes over that shield level. Because once it goes over that shield level, then they start taking health damage that can never be recovered. Unless you're in Brood War and you're playing with Terran units in your same force and they have medics. But yeah, don't have that in this game. And once you get like technology from multiple species combining on the same force, it gets pretty insane. That's when you get like a Zerg Defiler does Plague, and then a Science Vessel does EMP Shockwave on a Protoss base, and suddenly the Protoss base's hit points and the shields are instantly dissolved, and the hit points start sinking automatically, and it's just like you're screwed. Generally, no one race can do that kind of like super damage, but get the abilities of two races together, bad shit's gonna happen. Get out of there before you take health damage. Yeah. So you can get really obsessive about keeping the Protoss alive, but they probably lend themselves better to these missions, dungeon crawl missions than anyone else. Whoa! I might be biting off more than I can chew. Should I be head? No, I need to head this way. So I lost a zealot, or no? He's almost dead though. That zealot's just holding on. Hey. You know what? Get out of there. So I did lose a guy. I can come back here later. We have been ordered to rendezvous with other Protoss. I think once we do that, we'll have a base. Then we can think about going and taking over that stuff if we want to. So that wasn't really the best run that you could possibly have. We took some losses there, but we should be just about home free now. Or not. Phoenix.
Executor and Taro Adun, it is good to see you once more upon the field of battle.
Yeah, I got your refugees packed in nice and tight.
All of our probes were lost in the last Zerg attack, and we had no resources with which to replace them.
Robotic probes are used to warp in buildings together. Resources can be built at a nexus.
I long for combat.
Yeah, we're gonna have to let him escape for now.
I long for combat.
You see unpowered buildings. This is supposed to kind of... He's got special souped up... Oh. This Dragoon can't get into the base because other Dragoons are in the way.
Executor? Your command?
Hold position for now. Anyway, so let's start building some resource gatherers. We got Vespene, we got a Nexus, that is, as you must have picked up on by now, from the mini missions we fought against the Protoss, is their main base building. Oh no. Game slowdown right now? Seriously? Yeah, I don't know what that was about, folks.
I had intended to construct photon cannons here for defense, but without probes we could not do so.
Protoss buildings can only be placed within the blue area of influence of a pylon. Let's see here. Yeah, so... Oh, it looks like these guys are blue, but the units I produce are going to be yellow, okay. Anyway, yeah, I had an issue that I've been having with this computer. I really need to report it before the warranty goes out, where occasionally whatever it's running will just slow to a crawl. I think it's a glitch with the graphics software, actually. But at any rate, hopefully this... Last time this happened during a video, it meant that I had to adjust the sound sync, but it's a fairly easy thing to fix. I hope it's the same, otherwise I'm just going to use this video probably. So anyway, this is a fairly easy mission. They start you off easy, teaching you how a Protoss base works. But the Protoss missions get fairly hard fairly quickly. But yeah, the point of it is really to teach you how Protoss bases work. You got pylons that extend these little blue areas of influence that are kind of invisible. And a building that is not within the influence of one of those pylons does not function. So this gateway cannot build troops. Just for funsies, let's hear the population limit sound. Oh, don't you jerks. We're trying to get started here.
I long for combat.
I'm trying to teach the people how units freaking work. And I intentionally wanted to wait and let them hear the pop limit sound, and you screwed that up for me. Let's get down there and help him. He almost got killed because he had to fight those guys alone. Alright, well, that was a setback. I was just talking about how easy this mission is, and then all my dudes got killed. But the point was, I wanted to like keep building, not build pylons until you'd heard the "you've hit your pop limit" sound for the Protoss, which I'm sure I'll hear plenty of times before this is over. So I don't know what the rush is on my part, but they want you to build photon cannons here, which is the Protoss set 'em and forget 'em defenses. Bobo, huge fan of the photon cannon, so is Lagman. And so am I when I play some Protoss. Basically, they're great because they shoot land and air in their detectors, and they're not really that expensive. They cost more than Sunken Colony or Spore Colony would, and they certainly cost more than a bunker, although not more than a bunker that's fully loaded with troops. So, but the big thing is, since they shoot land and air in their detectors, they're as good. They do everything that stationary defenses are going to do for you. So you can just throw them down wherever you need them. And that was it. You must construct additional pylons. Let's build a pylon close to this so that it will start working again. After it has started a building's warp rift, a probe can be given new commands. This building will finish warping in on its own. It's the other thing about the Protoss.
I hunger for battle.
Their worker units do not actually need to hang around while buildings construct. Put this up here so that, as Phoenix suggested, we can build photon cannons. Now the Protoss gateway is working. We can build zealots. We cannot build dragoons because we don't have one of the tech buildings. let's go ahead and bring in some photon cannons, as the man suggested. In this mission, it's quite easy to accidentally close yourself in. I'm going to try to avoid that. Or make it so that you need transports to get back out. So I'm just going to throw in 2. Throw in any more than that, and we might not be able to get ourselves back out. Normally I would build more than that, but I don't think we can build transports here. And this, I have a distinct memory of playing this mission and building up forces that I then could not get out. Starcraft 2 doesn't do this, or at least very rarely does it do it. Starcraft is full of services that you can't build on, although there doesn't seem to be any good reason for that. So they did an airdrop over here before. Let's build the pylon over here so we can throw down a couple of cannons and prevent them from doing that again. Cannons in place. And as you can see, our population limit has also increased because pylons are what increases your population limit. To build photon cannons, you need a forge, which is also the building that's used to research most of the technology. For some bizarre reason, I always build 2 evolution chambers. I don't always bother to build 2 forges, even though forges have more things they can research. But the things that you research there are expensive. So this will just shoot at overlords that try to drop stuff, basically, and that's useful. So, depending on how big of a force we want to build, we may need to expand and take over the space that we saw over here. The main Zerg base we have to destroy is here. But this is kind of a tutorial mission on how Zerg units, or Protoss units and bases work, so don't expect us to run into a real heavy fight. A really heavy score. Now they've got 3 things to research. That's the same number as the Zerg have in there, so I'm not sure why I was acting like they were different. I will go ahead and build 2, although I think in this one we might not be able to research up to level 3. Don't know why, even through the entire Terran and Zerg campaign, why they would make it a big deal that we can't research these things all the way, but they do. Shields are particularly expensive to research, 200 and 200. Then I think level 2 is 250, 250, and level 2 I think might be 300, 300, and level 4 is, level 3 is 400, 400. A lot of numbers I just threw out there. You cannot improve the attacks of your photon cannons, so when I play as the Zerg, or the Protoss, since I do like to kind of hide behind defenses, not as much as Bobo and Lagman do, but all 3 of us really are into that style of play. And, that you want to get level 3 shields as fast as possible, because that's the only thing you're going to research that will actually improve your cannons. So this is kind of obnoxious. So we'll drop some guys up there. I saw that, yeah. They got quite a few guys they dropped up here. That sucks. They really don't want a cannon to be placed there, it seems like.
I hunger for battle. For combat.
We might want to get some more cannons going up here, because it seems like they were really into attacking that one. Cannons are 150 minerals a pop, so if you build a lot of cannons, you will find yourself mineral starved. But they don't take gas, and that's kind of important. They're not like, well, I mean, none of the stationary defenses use gas to build, but yeah. Never mind. Stop making sense there. So So it looks like that little cluster of pylons might be a focus of all of their attacks, and these two might not get much of anything, but that's fine. We still can't build Dragoons. What's the tech building we can build them? Because they've got Mutalisks, which means that we're going to need to have Dragoons. Oh, Cybernetics core, okay. Hopefully, pylon with 4 photon cannons will be able to hold a little bit better. The key to photon cannons is to have them densely packed enough that they kill anything that approaches them before it can really wear down one of them. Because, again, it's got shields that will automatically regenerate, and the health will not. So a couple of rushes, like they have a rush that knocks down the shields of 1 or 2 of them up front and doesn't kill it, but they do some permanent damage. That means the second rush will probably take them out. And the key to helping Fritz to smash his teeth on your defenses, as they would say in Allied General, to have like defenses that are going to hold against any attack. So you've got to have them densely packed enough that they never take enough damage from melee units to really get in trouble. And as with the Zerg or Terran stationary defenses, if they come in with siege tanks, or Reavers, or Guardians, yeah, you're not going to be able to hold those at bay with stationary defenses. But stationary defenses can't do everything. Alright, Cybernetics core. That is another tech building. Protoss have a bunch of tech buildings, and I can never remember which ones do what. The Zerg tech buildings tend to have the name of the unit whose research they are involved with in them, like Hydralisk Den, Queen's Nest, Ultralisk Cavern. Sometimes you get something like that with the Protoss buildings, but to me, mostly it's just Forge or Cybernetics core. These guys are called Dragoons. They're not called cybernetic attack guys. So. Now, if there's a species that you can win by turtling and waiting for... Yeah, see, I didn't need to build 2 of them, because we can only research up to level 1. If there's a species that can win by just hanging out and waiting until things go their way, or, just defending until they've got time to build up an invincible army, it's the Protoss. I like playing as the Zerg, and I like that strategy, but they're not really very well matched. The Protoss, on the other hand, definitely benefit from a long game because they have the best late game units. Now, normally the Cybernetics core allows you to research armor and weapons upgrades for your flying units. The Protoss probes and carriers that we were seeing during the invasion of Ire when we played as Zerg. This mission, you can't build any of the flying units. The only thing you can research here is the increase in Dragoon attack range, which is very useful and important to get. So we're going to have to do this entirely with ground units. Matter of fact, we have to do it entirely with basic structures. We can't build shield recharging guys, which I think are considered a basic structure. There's a type of building that recharges shields, and we don't get to build it here. And typically in my first base, or my main base, I will throw down pylons where we don't even have buildings. I want them to increase my population limit, and it also frees you up to build in different places. It's also a good idea to have redundant pylons, like up here. These 2 cannons will continue to function if one or the other of these pylons is destroyed. Over here I do not have that going. If they choose to attack this pylon and destroy it, all 4 of these cannons will cease function. The computer very rarely does that. Human player might be smart enough to do that, though. If you've got several structures that they want to stop, all powered by the same pylon, they are going to target that pylon. So we're going to mine this place out of minerals pretty soon. So it's time to start looking at these guys' costs. The Zealots are the most expensive of the basic units in the game. Terrans have 50 minerals for a Marine that can shoot land and air. Zerg pay 50 minerals for 2 Zerglings. The Zerglings are actually 25 pop. And they can attack ground only, as you see them doing here now. And that's exactly how things are meant to go. They didn't do enough damage to destroy the shields, which means that the shields should recover before their next attack. And basically, those Zerg were totally wasted. They did no long-term damage.
Upgrade complete.
But the Protoss pay 100 minerals, which would be the cost of 4 Zergling, or 2 Marines, for a unit that can only attack the ground. So, is that a bad deal? No, because they've got more life, and they do more damage than any other basic unit. There's a reason they cost more. But they do cost more. The Protoss are going to need a lot of resources to build up their force. So let's do the traditional Zerg or Zealot rush.
Upgrade complete.
Now the Zealot rush is the most expensive of the rushes. How many Zealots have we already got? We've already got 6, although they're mostly dead.
Executor? Isatu! What would you ask of me?
So we can probably pull back on this and then start building some Dragoons too. Dragoons are even more expensive. 125 minerals and 50 gas. They start falling all over themselves every time you order them to walk around. Yeah, they have horrible pathing. But they can shoot air. And, you know, compared to the basic Terran unit that can shoot land or air, the Marine, they're much harder to kill. Compared to the Hydralisk, they're more expensive but harder to kill.
My life for ire. My life for ire.
They do the same damage against air and ground, which is not true necessarily of some things like Goliaths. So they're a pretty useful all-around unit, but they're very expensive. I mean, like a wave of 24 to 36 Dragoons is just really, really pricey. You mostly want to use Dragoons if you think you're going against air. If you don't think you're going against air, Zealots will be the best bets. 18 damage per shot, and they do melee, so they attack more frequently. These do a little bit more damage per shot, but they don't attack as often. 100, and the Zealots are almost as difficult to kill. He has returned, folks.
Calls. I long for combat.
Now, a lot of these Zealots are almost dead. And it might not be a great idea to bring Phoenix, because he's a hero unit, and we have to keep him alive. Unlike the hero units in the Warcraft games, who can be brought back to life and have lots of neat powers, hero units in Starcraft tend to be slightly upgraded versions of regular units who die fairly easily, and you lose when they die.
Awaiting instructions.
3 more? Nah, we don't need 3 more.
What would you ask of me? What would you ask of me?
Let's see if they can even get out of here, or if I've built too many cannons. Phoenix, you don't have to literally get a million miles ahead of the rest of the army. I'm already feeling like it's an unnecessary risk to bring you. You wouldn't know why at this point. He hasn't really said anything. Oh. I didn't know I'd already queued you guys up. Now I feel silly. Let's get a couple more. We don't really have anything else to research. Might as well get some. Well, no, we need to hold on to some minerals, because if we take over this resource patch up here, we're going to need to build another Nexus, and Nexi are expensive. We can certainly afford it. they're not mined out yet.
Executor? Immediately. I hunger for
Hold on, I
battle.
screwed something up here. I never...
Make use of me. Receiving.
I didn't get all these guys hotkeyed together, the dragoons. There we are.
Command. Your command? Awaiting instructions. I hunger for battle. My life for ire. My life for ire.
Yeah, this is what we want. Over here. Looks like he caught sight of somebody.
Your warriors have engaged the enemy. As you
Their lives for our guys. This gun's for hire.
What would you ask of me?
What
would you ask of me? Protoss?
Hey, baby. So this is the second resource patch. We can take over if we want to. I think we've got enough forces to probably win. I think it's a fairly weak Zerg base we have to beat because this is just a tutorial. But it's a tutorial where we can't actually build everything the Protoss have to offer. So this Protoss have to offer. There's only so much we can learn. Basically, we've learned pylons provide psi energy that allows buildings to function.
Your command. Your warriors have engaged the enemy.
And that's mostly what we've learned.
You must construct additional pylons.
Never mind, it's not even worth messing with.
Your warriors have engaged the enemy.
See, these guys just got totally stuck there. Now my zealots are all dying.
Your command?
Get up there! What are you guys waiting for? Yeah, dragoons just have real pathing problems. Makes them kind of frustrating to use. Well, that population limit thing is going away.
Your warriors have engaged the enemy. For vengeance.
Phoenix has 8 kills. He's starting to take a little damage, but not too bad. Always want to make sure you don't let these guys escape. Because there's a pain in the ass to track down.
What would you ask of me?
So Phoenix is okay, but
Immediately.
these other guys are in trouble. These things have characters of 10. Form.
Make your command, Executor. Although we too have marched across hundreds of worlds together, I never imagined that we would be fighting on Ire. The Zerg are indeed worthy foes.
We've marched across hundreds of worlds together, like New Jersey and lots. Yeah, so Phoenix is our old friend, and while he doesn't greet us by going, "Hey man," he does greet us warmly, and it gives you a nice warm fuzzy feeling as you begin the Protoss missions. And there's our happy Protoss man. Tiamat brood. Wasn't as powerful as a Warmech brood would have been. They had more resources, which again indicates they probably started off with a ton, and the AI was set not to spend them. So we killed 109 and lost 17. That's actually pretty high losses, considering I was playing as the Protoss in such an easy mission. You want to, as the Protoss, you want to make sure that you don't lose a lot of units. Certainly, to play in multiplayer, you have to be prepared to take losses in order to inflict losses. But generally speaking, when you're playing as the Zerg, you know you're building a lot of cannon fodder. With the Protoss, you really should be taking care of your units as much as possible, keeping them out of harm's way. Well, not keeping them out of harm's way, but try to keep them alive. Try to pull them out when they get in trouble, because they're expensive. They're just a lot more expensive. Lost one structure because they killed one of my photon cannons, and I spent like twice what they spent. Into the flames, Citadel of the Executor, the following night after the party is over. We're going to have to find out what's up next in the next video, folks. Pretty straightforward story. It would appear that the Protoss Conclave, which is their government, I guess, their military, is it like the Pentagon? I don't know, but their Conclave has placed us, the new Executor, in charge because they decided that Tassadar was too soft on the Terrans, and therefore we are leading the new defense against the Zerg. The Zerg are firmly implanted. Now that they're on the planet, they came real close to nipping it in the bud when I almost screwed up Mission 9 as the Zerg, but now they're here, they're queer, get used to it. The Overmind has implanted itself upon Char, which I think means they... now the Zerg are going to be Legion, and it will be much harder to deal with. So it's like a damage control thing now. They're just trying to keep the Zerg from expanding any farther, and then they'll probably try to plan a counterattack or something. We're not there yet. Right now we're just learning how to use basic stuff. We stopped them from taking Antioch, which was our little closed-off area, with a couple of photon cannons and a couple of Dragoons and a couple of Zealots. It's going to get a lot more difficult. Join me for those missions, folks, coming up. Then I don't remember if the next mission is particularly challenging. I don't remember anything about what the next mission is. But by the end of the Protoss campaign, we are going to see some really difficult fights. Frankly, my recollection is that the Protoss missions of Starcraft and the Zerg missions of Brood War border on nightmarish. But, yeah, that's probably just because I'm not the best at this game ever. But they are pretty nasty. Certainly harder than anything we've seen so far. And they're coming soon to a Let's Play near you. This is Mysterious JG. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.